On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected.
Thank you to all our amazing channel members for your generous support.
Some lives burn with such intensity that every joke, every confession, every moment feels like a spark thrown into the darkness. Richard Pryor lived with that kind of fire, and he shared it unfiltered with the world. He was born on December 1st, 1940 in Peoria, Illinois, in a neighborhood where survival demanded sharp eyes and quick instincts. As a child, growing up in a brothel run by his grandmother, he learned early how to read people and how humor could diffuse even the most explosive situations. Pryor's rise began in the early 1960s, performing in small clubs with a polished, family-friendly style. But something inside him shifted. One night, however, mid-performance, he walked off stage, suddenly aware he was hiding his real voice. What followed was a reinvention that changed comedy forever. He returned with honesty, vulnerability, and a bold willingness to talk about race, trauma, addiction, and the contradictions of American life. His stand-up specials, especially Live in Concert and Live on the Sunset Strip, became cultural landmarks. His albums earned multiple Grammys, and in Hollywood, he brought depth and charisma to films like Silver Streak, Blue Collar, and Stir Crazy, proving he could translate his raw energy to the big screen. Few performers ever managed to dominate both stand-up and film the way Pryor did. Beyond the spotlight, he was a complicated, sensitive man. He loved animals deeply, especially his horses, and often found peace caring for them far from Hollywood's noise. Friends recalled that the man who made millions laugh was surprisingly quiet when the cameras were off. On December 10, 2005, Richard Pryor died at his home in Los Angeles. He was 65 years old. The cause was a massive heart attack, brought on after years of battling multiple sclerosis, a disease that had slowly weakened him but never fully silenced him. News of his death spread instantly. Comedians around the world honored him as the greatest to ever hold a microphone. Fans mourned not just a performer, but someone who had dared to expose his fears and failures so others could feel less alone. Today, Richard Pryor stands as a foundational figure in modern comedy. His influence stretches across generations, shaping every performer who uses humor to tell hard truths. His legacy endures through every laugh carved from honesty and every truth spoken without fear. Sometimes an actor captures a single moment so perfectly that it echoes across generations long after they are gone. Richard Castellano was one of those rare figures. He was born on September 4, 1933, in the Bronx, New York, into a lively Italian-American family where humor, quick wit, and storytelling were part of everyday life. Even as a child, he had a gift for turning ordinary moments into scenes worth remembering. Castellano's rise to national fame began on Broadway, where his natural comedic timing set him apart. Audiences first fell in love with him in Lovers and Other Strangers, a performance that earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. But his defining moment came in 1972 when he stepped into the role of Peter Clemenza in The Godfather. With just a handful of scenes, he created one of cinema's most iconic characters. His delivery of the legendary line, "Leave the gun, take the cannoli," was improvised, unforgettable, and instantly cemented into film history. It revealed everything about Castellano's instinctive talent: warm, authentic, and deeply human. Away from the spotlight, he was known for his generosity and playful spirit. Friends recalled that he loved cooking for people, often turning a simple meal into an evening filled with laughter. He rarely saw himself as a star. He simply wanted to make people feel something, whether it was joy, comfort, or connection. On December 10, 1988, Richard Castellano died at his home in North Bergen, New Jersey. He was only 55 years old, and the cause was a heart attack. His passing felt sudden, almost abrupt, as if a familiar voice had gone silent in the middle of a sentence. The news spread quickly, especially among those who cherished The Godfather. Fans mourned a performer who had left a deep mark with remarkably little screen time. Fellow actors spoke warmly of his natural talent and his ability to make even a quiet moment feel alive. There was a sense that the industry had lost someone who still had more to give. Today, Richard Castellano is remembered as one of the most memorable character actors of his era. His brief but brilliant contributions continue to resonate, proving that true impact isn't measured by the length of a career, but by the power of the moments left behind. His legacy whispers through that famous line, reminding us how a single moment can become immortal. A voice can change the direction of a generation, not with volume, but with honesty, grit, and a soul-deep sincerity. Otis Redding carried all of that in every note he sang. He was born on September 9, 1941, in Dawson, Georgia, and grew up in Macon, where the church choir became his first stage. As a teenager, he entered local talent shows so often, and won so consistently that he became a small-town legend long before the world ever heard his name. Redding's rise to fame happened almost by chance. In 1962, he drove a friend to a recording session at Stax Records in Memphis. During a lull, he asked if he could sing. What happened next stunned everyone in the studio. His performance led to the recording of These Arms of Mine, a soulful, aching ballad that marked the beginning of a remarkable career. Over the next few years, he delivered a string of iconic hits, including Respect, I've Been Loving You Too Long, and the explosive Try a Little Tenderness. Each song carried a depth that set him apart from other soul artists of his era. His triumphant appearance at the 1967 Monterey Pop Festival introduced him to a rock audience and cemented his place as a transformative force in American music. And only days before his death, he recorded Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay, a hauntingly reflective song that hinted at a new direction his music was about to take. Away from the spotlight, Otis was a gentle, grounded man. He loved spending time on his Georgia ranch, caring for animals, riding tractors, and dreaming up business ventures that had nothing to do with fame. Despite his rising success, he remained deeply connected to his family and hometown. On December 10, 1967, tragedy struck when Otis Redding's plane crashed into Lake Monona near Madison, Wisconsin. He was just 26 years old. The impact claimed his life, along with most members of his band, the Bar-Kays. A brilliant voice fell silent in an instant. The shock was immediate. Radio stations played his songs non-stop. Musicians mourned a colleague whose talent seemed limitless. Audiences felt a deep sense of loss, as if a new chapter in music had closed before it could truly begin. Today, Otis Redding is remembered as one of the greatest soul singers in history. His voice continues to inspire artists across genres, and his songs remain timeless expressions of longing, strength, and vulnerability. His music lives on like a heartbeat that refuses to fade. There are stars who command attention with sheer force, and others who leave a quieter, lingering beauty that stays in the memory long after they fade. Rosanna Podestá belonged to that second, unforgettable kind. She was born on August 20th, 1934 in Tripoli, then part of Italian Libya, and moved to Italy as a child. Growing up in Rome, she was discovered almost by chance when a director noticed her outside a school building, an unexpected encounter that opened the door to a life in cinema. Her rise began in the early 1950s a golden era for Italian film. Podesta's striking features and natural grace quickly drew attention, and she soon found herself casted in international productions. Her breakout role came with the 1954 adventure epic Ulysses, where she starred alongside Kirk Douglas. But it was her portrayal of Helen of Troy in the 1956 film Helen of Troy that made her a global icon. Her presence, both regal and delicate, captivated audiences worldwide, marking her as one of the most recognizable faces of mid-century European cinema. Throughout the 60s and 70s, she continued working across genres, appearing in dramas, comedies, and romantic adventures with a versatility that often went overlooked but never failed to impress those who watched closely. Away from the screen, Podesta had a deep love for adventure and connection. She formed a long and devoted relationship with Italian journalist Marco Vicario, whom she eventually married. Later in life, she shared a meaningful partnership with explorer Walter Bonatti, one of Italy's most legendary mountaineers. Their bond was profound, and after his death, she became one of the guardians of his legacy. On December 10, 2013, Rossana Podesta passed away in Rome at the age of 79. She died after battling a long illness, spending her final days surrounded by the quiet familiarity of the city that had shaped her life and career. News of her death stirred a wave of nostalgia across Italy and among classic film lovers around the world. Many remembered not just her beauty, but the gentle dignity she brought to every role, and the era of cinema she helped define. Today, Rossana Podesta is remembered as one of the luminous faces of 1950s and 1960s Italian film, a symbol of elegance, talent, and the timeless charm of Europe's cinematic golden age. Her glow endures in every frame she ever touched. Some performers ignite the screen with a quiet, simmering intensity, leaving an impression that feels deeper than fame itself. Anne Dvorak was one of those rare artists whose presence lingered long after the lights went down. She was born on August 2, 1911 in New York City to parents already connected to the film industry. As a child, she appeared in silent films and even danced in early musicals, giving her a surprisingly early start in a world she would one day dominate with her talent. Dvorak's rise to fame came with remarkable speed. After being discovered by Howard Hughes, she was cast in a series of major roles that showcased her emotional range. Her breakout performance arrived in 1932 with Scarface, where she played the tragic, rebellious sister of the infamous crime lord. That same year, she stunned audiences again in Three on a Match, delivering a raw and haunting portrayal of addiction that felt decades ahead of its time. Critics praised her honesty, her expressive face, and her ability to bring vulnerability into even the darkest moments. Throughout the 1930s and 1940s, she worked steadily in dramas, mysteries, and wartime stories, earning respect from directors and fellow actors who admired her commitment to every role she touched. Away from Hollywood, Dvorak revealed a different side of herself. She was fiercely independent and deeply curious about the world. In 1940, without consulting her studio, she traveled to England to volunteer for the war effort, driving ambulances and working in support roles. It was a bold, unconventional choice, one that reflected her bravery and her desire to live a life defined by more than celebrity. On December 10, 1979, Anne Dvorak died in Honolulu, Hawaii, at the age of 68. The cause was stomach cancer, an illness she faced privately, far from the public eye and the industry that had once claimed her youth. News of her passing prompted film historians and classic movie lovers to revisit her most unforgettable performances. There was a sense of rediscovery, a realization that her work had shaped the emotional language of early Hollywood more profoundly than many remembered. Today, Anne Dvorak is honored as one of the most underappreciated yet influential actresses of the Golden Age. Her performances remain strikingly modern, filled with truth, courage, and a depth that still resonates. She left behind a legacy carved from honesty, talent, and a quiet defiance that defined her life. A nation can change in a single lifetime, and few figures shaped their country as forcefully as Augusto Pinochet. He was born on November 25, 1915 in Valparaiso, Chile, a bustling port city that exposed him early to Chile's mix of cultures, politics, and ambition. As a young cadet, he stood out not for brilliance, but for relentless discipline, something that would define his entire career. Pinochet rose through the military ranks steadily, eventually becoming commander-in-chief of the Chilean army. His defining moment came on September 11, 1973, when he led the coup that overthrew President Salvador Allende. The event instantly transformed him into the most powerful man in Chile. Under his rule, the economy shifted dramatically toward free market reforms, creating rapid growth for some and deep inequality for others. His iron-fisted governance, marked by censorship, mass detentions, and human rights violations, etched his name into global headlines and fierce debates. Whether viewed as a savior or a tyrant, he commanded attention everywhere he went. Away from the public eye, Pinochet enjoyed reading military history and believed himself to be a scholar of strategy. During his presidency, he even published several books under his own name, convinced that posterity would study them closely. He died on December 10, 2006, at the age of 91 after suffering a heart attack in Santiago. In the weeks before his death, Chilean courts were still investigating him for human rights abuses and corruption, leaving his final days shadowed by legal and moral questions that had followed him for decades. The reaction to his passing was unlike anything Chile had seen in modern times. Thousands mourned, calling him the man who saved Chile from communism. Thousands more celebrated openly, believing justice had finally caught up with him. His funeral, held with limited military honors, became a symbol of the deep divide he left behind. Today, Augusto Pinochet remains one of the most controversial figures in Latin American history. His economic reforms continue to influence Chilean policy, while the trauma of his dictatorship shapes its politics and memory. For many, he represents a warning about the fragile line between order and oppression. A burst of laughter can brighten an entire room, and few performers carried that gift as naturally as Shirley Hemphill. She was born on July 1, 1947 in Asheville, North Carolina, a small mountain town where her quick wit stood out even in childhood. Teachers often remembered her as the girl who could turn an ordinary moment into a joke without ever losing her warmth. Hemphill's rise began in the comedy clubs of Los Angeles, where she worked tirelessly while waiting tables to support herself. Her sharp timing and fearless style caught the attention of casting directors, leading to her breakout role as Shirley Wilson on the hit sitcom What's Happening in 1976. Audiences loved her bold humor, her expressive reactions, and the unforgettable energy she brought to every scene. The show's success made her a household name, and she later returned for the sequel series What's Happening Now, proving that her charisma never faded. Beyond television, she also toured as a stand-up comedian, earning respect from peers who admired her dedication to the craft. Away from the spotlight, Hemphill had a surprisingly quiet personal life. She was known for her generosity, often helping fellow comedians who struggled financially or emotionally. Some friends recalled that she kept a list of people she wanted to check on weekly, just to make sure they were all right. Shirley Hemphill died on December 10, 1999, at the age of 52. She passed away in her home in Los Angeles from kidney failure, a sudden and heartbreaking end for someone who had always seemed larger than life. The news of her death spread quickly through the entertainment world. Former co-stars shared memories of her kindness, her infectious laugh, and the way she could lift the mood of an entire set within seconds. Fans who grew up watching her filled online forums and tribute pages with gratitude, remembering how she made childhood evenings fun and comforting. Today, Shirley Hemphill is celebrated as a pioneering Black comedienne who carved out space for herself in a challenging industry. Her work on What's Happening continues to resonate with new audiences, and her comedic rhythm still influences performers who followed in her footsteps. Her voice lives on in every laugh she inspired, echoing far beyond the years she spent on screen.